We're learning about the moon. This is a speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he gave in the end of 1991, shortly before he had a stroke, which rendered him unable to speak. So these were the last speeches that the Rebbe gave, and it's really powerful, concentrated about Mashiach, talking about Mashiach and how practical the idea of Mashiach is and how necessary Mashiach is and how essential the arrival of Mashiach is coming and how imminent it is. Any second, it has to happen. Mashiach, there's going to be big changes in the world. And what type of changes are there going to be? So the Rebbe said, well, the Mashiach is going to bring this thing called the Geula, the future redemption, where all good in the world will be revealed. Like we just finished saying, when you reveal a little bit of light, all the darkness goes away. So the more good that's revealed in the world, the less bad there is automatically. One reason that people do bad things and say bad things and get addicted to things, it's because they don't think there's any good. They don't think there's any really viable alternative to what they're doing, to being a thief or to being addicted to drugs or to do this. They don't think there's any alternative. That's the best thing that they can find. The best thing that they can find in life is to do these destructive things or self-destructive things. Well, Mashiach is going to reveal the good which is in everybody. And when people see that there's an alternative to destruction and self-destruction and bad and evil and death and disease and thievery and all the terrible things that happen, and they see that there's a really viable alternative. There's a thing that talks to them. It vibrates in everybody's soul. Then people will stop doing bad. And this good is inside of everybody, and it's inside of everything in the world. Okay, so I mean, it's so easy. Why isn't it happening? So the Rebbe said, well, that's a really good question why it's not happening. And one of the reasons maybe is that we're not thinking about it. We're not ready for it. Maybe it is happening. We're just not noticing it. Huh? Maybe it's just not happening. You know, a person is looking for food in the garbage can or something like that, and it happens to be there's a big diamond over there, and he's not looking for diamonds. He's looking for a sardine or something. He finds this diamond, and he's going to be able to feed all of his friends. But we're not looking for the right thing. So the Rebbe is trying to tell us, look, I want to tell you what the diamond is, so that we're looking for it, and stop rummaging around in the garbage. So, so what is the good? So the Rebbe said, okay, the Mashiach is compared to the moon. The moon. When there's a full moon, so it illuminates the night, it's very beautiful. So no, not the full moon. Not the full moon. Coming of Mashiach is compared to the new moon. What's the new moon? The new moon is a sliver. A little sliver, a sliver of light you see in the dark sky. Little sliver. And that's the idea of the Mashiach. That's the idea of Mashiach. So the Rebbe said, that doesn't make any sense. Why? What's wrong with the full moon? The full moon is wonderful. The full moon is like it supplements the sun. It supplants the sun. It's in the place of the sun. You have the full moon. You don't really need the sun for light. You know, you have a full moon. You got to adjust your eyes a little bit, but that's the Mashiach. Mashiach comes to illuminate the night with reveal the good which is in the darkness. Like I just finished saying, so no, you're right. Those are good things, but it's incomparable to the good, which is the first sliver of the moon. That's infinitely better. So what is it better for? You can't really see anything. When there's a first sliver of the moon, it doesn't really provide any light. You know, it could be even the stars provide more light than the first sliver of the moon. I don't know, but certainly that's not what we're, that's not what we're aiming for. That we're aiming to reveal the good in the world, the good. And the first sliver of the moon, that indicates a little tiny bit of light in the darkness. That's not anything. We can't use that. Says the Rebbe, oh yeah. But if you think about it, the qualitative difference, and the quantitative difference also between 0 and 1 is infinitely greater than the qualitative and the quantitative difference between 1 and a trillion. Infinity. 1 and infinity, you just keep adding more and more and more and more and more. Truly, maybe you won't get to the end, but you add more and more, and it's just adding to what you've got. But from 0 to 1, no matter how many zeros you have, you can't make 1. Right? You can't approach infinity, you can't replace nothing. There's nothing there. And to make something from nothing, that is an infinite jump, qualitatively and quantitatively. A whole new reality. Before there was darkness, now there's a little sliver of light. And from that little sliver of light, you can increase more and more until it's practical, until it's beautiful, until it's comforting, until all these wonderful things. But the main thing is this first second. That's going to be the redemption. The redemption is from 0 to 1. That's the birth of the moon. Now we can understand, it says the whole novelty of the future redemption that's going to be in the future by means of the Mashiach. It says that the world is going to be renewed like the new moon, the birth of the moon, and not the fullness of the moon and the complete moon. Ha'ilui, the whole advantage of, where is this? Let me get my, 1 minute, I happened over here? I want to get my point. Oh, here it is. Annotate. Annotate. Okay. The whole novelty, the whole novelty and the advantage of the birth of the moon on the first day of the month, the Gabi regarding the full moon in the 15th day of the month, the middle of the month. The Jewish people, their calendar goes according to the moon, right? And they adjust it once every 3 years that it should also correspond with the sun, that the seasons should correspond with the months. They do that once a year. But constantly the Jewish calendar goes according to the moon. So it says the middle of every month is always the full moon. That's in the middle of the month. Shamila v'shlemus lavana, the wholeness of the moon. This is just the light of the moon. Namely, that from day to day, it gets bigger, the light of the moon, more and more, which is not the case, Hamala, the molid, which is not the case, the birth of the moon, the first day of the month. There's just sliver of the moon. This is not relevant to the light of the moon, but it is to the source of the light, the moon itself. It's just starting to light. There's not sufficient light to be usable. It's not practical. The moon, the light that comes from the first day of the month. It's just a little sliver. But what does it show? It shows mitziuta. It shows the essence of the moon, the source of the moon. Etzem shalamayla migiluim. That there is such a thing as the moon. That there is such a thing. What does it do? We're not interested in that. We're interested in there is the moon. And from the moon comes light. So that's higher than all the degrees of light that come from the moon. After the concealment, that it was concealed 1 second before the first sliver comes, mitchadesh, there is renewed and revealed the existence of the moon. But this existence is drawn down and comes actually and revealed by the light of the moon from day to day until it's filled and it's complete. So let's say in a simple way, hope, right? You're in a difficult situation and suddenly there's hope, right? There's hope. They're sending the helicopter to help you. Where is it? I don't know, but it's being sent. Same thing. God exists. He's going to help you. Well, maybe he exists, but he's not going to help me. Yes, he is. Hope. There's hope. Oh, that's like the first ray of, right? The first ray of, how do you say, reality. First ray. That's what Mashiach is going to bring. Mashiach is going to bring the first ray of reality, of how good life is, how good God is, how much faith God puts in us, how he depends on us. God depends on us. He's waiting for us to do good. He has not abandoned us. We're not alone. That's the first ray of the moon. That's what Mashiach is going to bring to the world. Move on. From this, it's understood that the main novelty of the future redemption and the completeness of it is the first instant that it's born, the first instant of the birth of the moon. The moon here is just a metaphor, right, for the cave, and since Sha'az then is the reveal of the existence of the moon. Similarly in the Jewish people, the revelation of Mashiach is Hitgalut Etzem Mitziuto the Israel. What a Jew is, not what they do or what their aspects are. The fact that there is such a thing as the Jewish people are the sons of God. Every Jew. There could be such a thing, the son of God. Every Jew is the son of God. What does that mean? What does it mean? Don't know what it means. I don't know what it means, but that's what Mashiach is going to reveal. That first little sliver, there is such a thing. Etzem Hanashama, the essence of the soul of every Jew. The low ode, and not only that, Elisha Etzem Nimshach, but Bo the Gila. And then afterwards it becomes more and more revealed. Hainu Shagam Bedargot the Giluim, even the levels of being revealed, when it's added on, the light of the moon from moment to moment, from the first moment to the second moment, until finally it's full. As Nirgasha Etzem, you can still feel the essence which is above any revelations. Hachirush, the novelty of the moment that it was born. You see this in a lot of things. It's very, very common. You can see this, right? That people become, what do you say, corrupted. What do you mean corrupted? A judge. He starts to be a judge because he wants justice. A musician. He wants to go into music because he loves harmony. He loves order. Right? A doctor. He goes into because he wants health. He wants to be healthy. But as time goes by, he forgets about that original first the truth that he saw. The first second of truth. And now all of a sudden he wants to make as much money as possible, and he wants to be as famous as possible, and he's cutting this guy out, and he's cutting this person out, and it could be that this operation he's not going to make, and this client he's not going to represent, and suddenly he loses that first glimpse of truth that he had, that from that first glimpse of truth or beauty or harmony, that was really his inspiration for doing all these things. It's the same thing with religion, same thing with Judaism. You get a Baal Tshuva, he gets a first glimpse of what's going on, and he gets into Torah and commandments, and all of a sudden he thinks, well, he wants this job, he gets somebody else. He forgets that God is the boss, and he forgets who he is, and he forgets why he's doing the whole thing. And it becomes obscured. To the person that plays, even non-religious people, they can look at some religious people and say, I don't want to be like that. Look at that guy, he's terrible. And the person himself, he also doesn't want to be like that. But he's forgotten that first little light of truth. He's not willing to sacrifice anything for the truth. And that's a very big mistake. Says the Rebbe, that's the whole thing of Mashiach. Mashiach will reveal this one spark of truth, of reality, and it'll make it that it'll permeate everything all the time. People will be willing to risk everything for the truth. That's what Abraham did. And that means they'll feel that novelty of the first second that they saw the truth. That God is creating the world, that God loves us, God is close to us. Every human being is different. Every human being is unique. Every human being has something to contribute. We forget that. But in the future, La'ati Lavo, Yiru B'Poel will see that the true existence of what Jews are. What is the Jewish people? The essence of the soul, which is one with the essence of God. Jewish people and God are totally one. When everyone sees that, then the world is going to be different. Suddenly the world will reveal not the greatness of the Jewish people, but the greatness of the Creator that's creating them. We're Jewish people, we're public servants. We're here to teach the world. We're chosen. God chose us to tell the world how much God loves them. That God is creating everybody. Kefisha Nimshach, this will be drawn down and revealed in all of the different levels of the soul, which are called Yechida and Chaya and Nefesh and Ruach. Kochat and Nefesh and all the powers of the soul, Tainug of Ratzon. Here we see nowadays, very interesting thing. You see, this person is a criminal. This person is a big movie star. This guy's very rich, and he's a Jew, right? And he's a Jew. Other people, they say, this person is very rich. He's a movie star. He's a criminal, and he's a Protestant, and he's a Catholic, and who cares? Nobody cares about the other religions, right? The guy is a Catholic. So what if he's a Catholic, right? This guy is a Jew. He doesn't do anything Jewish, nothing whatsoever, and he's a Jew. And despite all the things that he does, totally opposite of what the Torah says, nevertheless, he retains this thing that he's a Jew. What is that little spark inside? Like people hate the Jews. What do they hate the Jews? In Germany, they hated Jews, non-religious Jews, anti-religious Jews, converted Jews, right? What do they call it? They hated Jews. Why do they hate the Jews? The Jews themselves didn't know. They didn't know what am I doing wrong? Right? What's and it says because that little spark is the identity of what good is. And that good is supposed to permeate everything in the world. That's what the Jewish people are chosen for. It'll permeate everything, all of your emotions, all of your thoughts, your speech, your action, even your physical body, in all of your 248 limbs, in the 365 arteries. It'll be recognized in them. Actually, this one second, somebody's on the door here. Okay. It'll be revealed that everything you do, everything you say, that God and the Jewish people are completely one. Here, let's do this. According to this, we can say that the true completion, what's going to be in the future redemption, that also even the levels, that even in the external things of the world, you will feel the essence, right? Even the people, when they are, like we said, the doctors, they won't forget that the only reason there is for healing, and the lawyers and judges only to make justice in the world, and the musicians only in order to make beauty in the world. Right? So people will remember that essential inner point of truth that they feel. And that's the thing that this is the whole idea of the month of Kislev. Kislev means covering up of Lamed Vav. Now, if you remember, we said before, Lamed Vav is talking about 36. Lamed is 30 and Vav is 6. And that's the 6 emotional attributes of God and the 6 emotional attributes of us, how they are revealed. 6 times 6. Each one of those attributes of God and attributes of our soul, 6 attributes, is also composed of 6 to reveal the whole entire thing, covering over the whole thing. And the Rebbe said previously, at first glance, that's the opposite of the first day of the month. The first day of the month, there's not 36, it's just 1. In the middle of the month, that's when all the emotions and everything is revealed. Right? That's the revelation. So it says, Kislev is covered over the total revelation of the soul and the total revelation of God. That even when things are totally revealed, even when you reveal and you're in the world and you Lamed Vav is the gematria of Eila, these, revelation, see, these. When you're complete, when the moon is complete, Nikar v'nirgish, you'll feel that right now this is brand new. That after the concealment and the hiding of that Lamed Vav, you'll feel that it's the first instant that you were born. And this is like when there was the Holy Temple in Israel. So especially the first temple. The first temple, all the Jews were in Israel. After that, in the second temple, all the Jews already weren't in Israel. But the first temple, all the Jews were in Israel. And it was perfect. The situation was perfect, especially in the time of King Solomon. Perfect situation, right? But what happened? Everything was wonderful. All the world recognized our greatness, but we forgot that first instant. We forgot where we came from. We forgot that the whole thing is a big miracle from God. The very, very easy thing to forget. The person that gets successful, he starts to think, the success is mine. I did it. Right? I am great. I am a leader. If people forget that I'm a servant, people forget that my whole essence is just a big miracle, that everything I have is not because of my work. I was a partner with God, good, but the whole thing is really a big miracle to God. How can I even be a partner? God gave me that also. It's that first instant of coming from 0 to 1, people forget. It says the whole novelty of Moshiach is that people won't forget it. It won't be forgotten anymore. Right? The Jews got out of Egypt. God gave them everything. They gave them the Torah. They were complete. They worshiped the golden calf. Why? Because they forgot about that first instant that it really was all coming from God. That God was really doing everything. He was creating us and he was giving us success and providing for. That's the novelty of the Mashiach, that we will feel the essence of what a Jew is all the time. That the essence which is above any revelation, that will permeate and be found even in all of the levels that are revealed afterwards. And we can add on, this is stressed, on the holidays of the month of Kislev. The holidays of the month of Kislev, we have Yud Tet Kislev. That's the day that the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison. And Yud Kislev, that's the day that the second Rebbe of Chabad, he got out of prison. And Chanukah especially, and both of these days are connected to oil. How are they connected to oil? It says that there's different levels of the Torah. There's the oil of the Torah, there's the wine of the Torah, there's the water of the Torah, and there's the bread of the Torah. Sometimes the Torah is compared to bread. That's the revealed Torah. That is day-to-day laws, what we should do. That's the body of the Torah, the nourishment of the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch. And then there's the water of the Torah. The water of the Torah is how the Torah is applicable to all sorts of situations and different things that can change the world. Then we have the water, the wine of the Torah. The wine of the Torah, that's the secrets of the Torah. The secrets of the Torah, how it's connected to God, that makes you happy. And then we have the oil of the Torah. That's the pure godliness which is in the Torah. The godliness which is in the Torah, which is totally above any understanding, any logic. It's the source of life. That's oil. Oil floats above everybody. That's what's called Hasidut. Hasidut is called the oil. Oil is a very interesting attribute, and that it floats above all the liquids, but also if oil falls on your garment, it spreads out. It spreads out. You can't separate it. The same thing is God. God, on one hand, the essence of God is above everything, but on the other hand, the essence of God permeates everything. That's what Hasidut tries to teach. And that's what was revealed on Yud Tet Kislev, when the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison, and Yud Kislev, which was a bit afterwards, when the second Rebbe of Chabad, he was also got out of prison. Both the times they were imprisoned in order to stop them from teaching Hasidut, and both times they were put into prison, and they were released from prison. That showed that they could reveal more of these teachings of Hasidut. And Hasidut is like the oil of the Torah. It's the highest, even above the secrets of the Torah, but on the other hand, it's applicable to every aspect of the world, just like oil spreads out through everything. By means of the teachings of Chabad, Hasidut is nase yadatav havitov. It says, if I would know God, I would be God. Well, through learning Hasidut, you can be God. What does it mean you can be God? Totally surrendered to the essence of God all the time. Me'ayin, similar to the preparation and knowing God, which is going to be in the future. That's giving us a taste. Hasidut gives you a taste of the oneness of God, like Moshiach is going to give everybody. That in the future, when Moshiach comes, people will only be interested in knowing God alone, to feel the godliness which is in every detail of the world. All the world will only be interested in knowing God. There's still going to be businesses, and there's still going to be work, and there's still going to be families, but everyone will be interested only in the godliness which is in it, which nowadays nobody's interested in all. Nobody knows what it is. But the fact is that God is creating everything. God is the real reality. That's what puts happiness into business, and success into the business, and success and happiness into the family. Success in life is feeling the true meaning of everything that there is in the world. It's because the world will be filled with the awareness of God like the water. And by the way, we've said this before, but when God is revealed, what does everybody feel? Responsibility. They feel important. Everyone feels important in the eyes of God. Every moment of my life, I can fulfill responsibility to God. Even a little smile, a good word, a helpful thing, a good thought, even. Everything is important to God. And that's all concealed now. It's all hidden. When we feel godliness, you'll feel the responsibility, how important every human being is and how important every moment is. How much more so by the Jewish people. All of them will know me. The whole world will know God, but especially the Jewish people. That will be revealed, me, my essence, not just the creator, how God is creating the world, how God emanates the world, but the essence of God that's found in everything. Above understanding, that's what is going to be revealed to everybody. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to finish this also tomorrow. Here we go. One minute, did we do this? Oh, according to this, according to what is known, Shakal Inyanim, that everything that's going to be in the future, they all depend on our deeds and our actions now, in the time of the exile. Now, these last almost 2,000 years that we've been in exile since the temple was destroyed, that's like the, how do you say, the intense exile. How we react in these times, how we act and react, that's what can hurry up the future redemption. As we say, all the things that are going to be in the future, they depend on our deeds now, what we do now in Gullus, in exile. The preparation for the true future redemption by means of the Mashiach has to be something like what is going to happen, namely the renewal of the moon. But like the new moon, that's the idea of the revelation of the essence of what the Jews are, the essence of the soul, which is above even this level of Yechida, even above how we are sons of God, the essence connection of a Jew. But that's what's going to be revealed in the future, and we have to pretend now like it's that way. Practice. In addition to what we said before, that the future redemption by means of the Mashiach comes by means of that every Jew reveals the spark of the Mashiach, which is in him, her. That's the level of Yechida. We can also add on and fix up that the main intention is, now, what are we supposed to do? Not to the level of Yechida, which that's one of the 5 levels of the soul, but the revelation of what's called the essence of the soul. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to reveal this? The whole true idea of the Mashiach, the spark of the Mashiach, which is in every single Jew, or the spark of Mashiach in general in the world, the human being that's going to be the Mashiach, is we have to reveal the essence of the Jews, which are above even the level of Yechida. What does this mean? What does this mean? We can say that this whole idea is hinted at what it says, Matzati David Avdi B'Shemen Kodshi Mishachtiv. It says in Psalms, Psalm 89, I have found, God said, I have found King David. I have found him. What does it mean, found him? It says finding, this is the language of Matsui. The word Matzia means that you find something that exists. To find some discovery, right? Discovery. There's what's called invention and discovery. You invent something or you discover something, right? Are you inventing meaning in the world? You invent it or do you discover? A person loves his wife, his family, his children, his friends, is because you're inventing something inside of them. You invent some reason to love them, or is it because you discover something that's really valuable inside of them? You discover something that's loving. So you discover love in your soul. Or are you inventing it? You're making it up. It says, well, there's both are true. How do they say fake it until you make it? You can fake, but you have the actors. Actors are a huge industry, the acting industry, television and radio and movies, things. People act as though they are, right? They act as though they love. They act as though they're afraid. They act as though, right? So that's called acting. But that's not reality. In reality, they just want to make money. They're just good actors and they want to make money. That's the reality. But what does it mean to be real? What does it mean to be real? To be real means to find the truth. Truth exists. It already exists. Truth exists. Love exists. Reality exists. Meaning exists. These things exist. It could be each person has to find it in his own way. But that's the whole idea also of Mashiach. This indicates that the essence, existence of something which is above any explanation. It just exists. Right? Exists. How does it mean, for instance, let's take a simple example. Love. Love exists even if there is no love in the world. There's no love. You don't see any example of love in the world. You live in a society where it's just might makes right, and everything is totally mechanical, and they're just out for pleasure, simple pleasures. There's no such thing as love, that you're willing to relinquish something because you love somebody, or no such thing. It says, but does that mean love doesn't exist? Of course it exists. What is it? I don't know, right? Mathematics, does that mathematics exists even if there's nobody that in the world that understands? Of course it exists, right? The people that revealed, if they're revealing something true, right? The theory of relativity. He didn't invent it. It just, if it's true, then he just revealed it. If it's not true, then he invented it, right? Invented it. Here we're talking about Mashiach is something that's going to be, it's going to be found, but it exists already. And the fact that it exists is above any explanation. It's just pure existence. It's there. What is it? I don't know. What is mathematics without any numbers? I don't know. What's love without any people? I don't know. So it's the same thing. Mashiach is truth. What's truth without any explanation? I don't know, but it's there. Rak mipenei shemuchrachim lishtamesh bebitui, because you have to use some sort of a word and say the Mashiach is present, just like God. It says that God is a matsui rishon. He exists, but it's not really any sort of defined existence. We know what God does. We know what God's it creates, but we know what God is. The same thing with Mashiach. The same thing with the Jew. It's something which is higher than can possibly be described, but it is. That's the thing about Mashiach. Mashiach is. Matzati David Abdi. I have discovered King David. This refers to the essence of the soul of the Mashiach, which is above any sort of description, above even the level of Yechida of the soul. Therefore, it's called Matsui. It exists. He just found it. And afterwards, it says, I anointed him with oil. That's the second, that's the continuation of the sentence. God said, I have found King David and I have anointed him with oil. Oil, that's already the level of Yechida. That's already a level of the soul. And this refers to every Jew, the Mashiach in every Jew. This comes into all the different levels. What does this mean about every Jew? What are we supposed to do? What a Jew is, the Rebbe is saying, is incomprehensible. You can't describe it, but it comes into different revelations. Just a second. A helicopter. I hear a helicopter means that they're taking a wounded soldier. What is this? Okay. That's the essence of the Jewish soul. It means bittul, to totally surrender to God until it comes down to the set that you can't, you hear ideas in the Torah, you're not supposed to think maybe this is not true. You won't have any doubts. You won't have any, that's the yechida of the Torah, the inside of the Torah. All of your doubts will be dispelled about God's existence, about Torah, about the commandments, about the meaning of life. There will be just the essence of the soul. That's what's going to be revealed. The essence of the Jewish soul, beyond any explanation, pure good, pure truth. And this will bring, it'll come down with oil, it'll come down into the world, all the things of life, all the aspects of life, until it'll be revealed the essence of the soul in every detail of the world. That's what the true inyan of the Mashiach, that the essence of the Jewish people will be revealed actually. That's Mashiach. And this is hinted at when it says all the days of your life, you have to bring the Mashiach. And this we're going to talk about more on tomorrow, on Friday. Now let's learn the Yom Yom. Doesn't work.